Why are light fighters still the strongest ship in the game after so many years? Why did I buy anything bigger than a Gladius? Just for PvE? Is this a game only for people that want to role-play as Luke Skywalker fighting the Death Star? Why is there such a big disconnect between marketing videos of how the game plays and what you actually do in the game? Take a look at the Starlance attack commercial if you need any proof of what I'm talking about. Maybe one day CIG will figure out they have made light fighters too strong versus anything else. Yeah, this isn't even up for debate. Light fighters are pretty OP. I think they're going to fix them one day, maybe. Proposal to balance light fighters. Take away all countermeasures except for a single burst from light fighters. They can flare off one missile volley. Then they are vulnerable to missiles. Everyone wants balance, right? Okay, I think we might be being a little bit harsh on the light fighter pilots here. Ship combat is unplayable again. NPCs are teleporting all over the place as if server meshing and year of playability never happened. If we get the IAE on top of this, it's going to be one of the least playable times. Hey, teleporting confirmed for Star Citizen, sounds good to me. Remember exploration? This game was so different from what we imagined not so long ago. We were so intoxicated by the idea of expansiveness, discovery. Where did it go? Using the Mobiglas to plot routes and look at maps in a ship was a great placeholder back in 2017 when ship HUDs were extremely limited, but we are in 2025 now. What is the game plan here? Picture this. Captain tells Idris Pilot to plot a route to the Pyro Jump Gate. Idris Pilot drops Idris controls and starts clicking his watch to put a galaxy map on the watch. This scene looks stupid. Suggestion: it is okay to interact with the Mobiglas interface to plot a route, but the hologram projection should come from the ship interface, not from my watch. Sure, it would be cool to reroute it to the watch in case of a ship malfunction or emergency. I understand lore-wise they're always integrated, but primarily ship controls should be on ships, in my humble opinion. I know everything is very difficult to do in SC, but making the hologram projection come from the ship instead of the watch when seated at a vehicle may not be that hard to make, and I think it would provide a much more interesting system. Much closer to a final interface, no? Also, are we ever going to interact with map rooms in ships ever? I never cared for any of these placeholders because I always assumed this would be handled in time for Squadron. But is it being handled at all for Squadron? Is Mobiglas really how we are going to be plotting space jumps and handling any kind of strategic maps in 1.0? Is any of this part of engineering? Finally, before anyone brings up the obvious point that this is not and should not be a priority, I am just asking if this is something that CIG plans to tackle at all before 1.0, since again, plotting routes on the Mobiglas was a great placeholder in 2017 when there was nothing else, but we are now in 2025 and ship HUDs have come a long way. Look, I think I agree, Space Watch route charting needs to go. Where are the robots in Star Citizen? Is it even a sci-fi game without automated wandering machines? Why not have robots around to make the environment seem more animated, instead of human NPCs standing or sitting around doing nothing? Are robots or machines planned for future updates / Squadron 42? Or does everything in this game's lore need to be human operated? Suggestion of adding robots or AI-powered machines to make things make more sense, single-seater engineering, to add variety in hostile targets, to make the background decor / environment and that players can buy or craft. Humanoid or non-humanoid, it doesn't matter, every sci-fi title has them. The last thread about this topic dates back 6 years ago. Robots in my Star Citizen? Why not? Hot take to fix combat and give the vision of Chris Roberts for World War II style combat. Option 1. Remove strafing in SCM mode. Sure, it provides for a fun flight experience and can still have that for nav mode when traversing tight areas and landing. Yes, it is possible to put the genie back in the bottle. Decoupled mode may also need to be removed for this to work. The lore mechanic reason could be provided by engineering, too much heat and power to run weapon systems and the additional strafing thrusters. Option 2, significantly reduce the power and acceleration of it to make it have very minimal impact on combat maneuvering, at least under SCM. Same as above for law and mechanic. This will stop the nose-to-nose fighting from fighters on up to capital ships, require pilots to learn real-world tactics to merge, evade and reverse positions in a dogfight, allow CIG to better balance ships in relation to each other with their strengths and weaknesses. Ships with turrets will actually have meaningful impact rather than every ship being a mobile turret, restore the vision of a Second World War dogfighting, put capital ships in their proper place with needing formations to overlap and concentrate firepower. Right now they are nose to nose and fight just like much bigger, slower fighters in a dogfight as well. Provide a genuine reason to have turret gunners on ships like the Retaliator, and finally make it feel like the B-17 it is inspired by. I think we do need to fix light fighters and maybe part of the flight model as a whole, but I don't know if removing strafing is the way to go about it. Will 4.3.2 actually be fixed at some point? For me personally, this is pretty much the worst patch I've ever encountered, simply because more things don't work than actually do. Contested zones, Hathor, looting that new Palatino armor, etc. There's just no loot, no refresh of loot boxes, or you can't even interact with them. No matter what you try to find, it's just a waste of time. I mean, I do actually like wasting time in Star Citizen, to be fair. Please get rid of the press F system already. This has to be the worst interaction system I have ever seen. Walking up to a door switch or something like that, pressing F and then getting locked into a slow animation to sit down somewhere because you caught the wrong F. Trying to F on a body in a place full of enemies, but instead of getting the quick loot to grab ammo or a key item, you float out of cover to slowly pick up a useless gun, dropping your own gun you got ammo for, and now getting shot at by enemies while having no ammo for the new gun and no time to slowly fumble with another F to get your other gun back. Doing a rain dance around some body because the F only appears in one specific position, but because of delay you already moved out of it by the time it shows up. Standing in front of a door or lift waiting for an F that never shows up because in some places it doesn't exist or is bugged. Running around trying to find the correct F that's just floating in midair to interact with the right thing. Man, can we get an F in the chat? Can we get away from magic boost charge? I think it's time we get away from the magical boost charge on ships and finally tie into fuel usage and heat management. The more you boost, the more significantly you consume fuel, and the hotter your engines get to the point cooling no longer keeps up. This would finally, after 13 years, give coolers something to do. Also, running out of fuel in combat will be far more likely to happen, and bring fueling ships into play would change things up a bit. Seriously, refueling in all this time and we've yet to need to do it due to the high fuel caps of all ships. Just a late night thought. Well, that's fuel for thought. If you like this video and you're interested in Star Citizen, please consider using my referral code, which you can see on the screen right now. If you use that when signing up for a new Star Citizen account, you're going to get a bonus of 50,000 credits. Thanks for watching, guys.